Hello everybody, Blighter Productions here, and I am back with a video, but this time a very special video. I'm going to rank creepypastas from AlongCameJosh and MrHoneyBun. These two gentlemen are very influential in these kind of genres, and they've been huge inspiration to me for my own scary Minecraft videos. So this is also kind of a shout out to them. I've watched creepypastas ever since they came out, and I found them very interesting to watch, and I liked the stories. I enjoyed watching them a lot in general. And I recently got back to all of them after maybe a year or so, and I decided I wanted to rank them all in order to see which ones I really like and which ones I really don't. I have made up a tier list, a very basic tier list online on Capwing, because Tiermaker had the whole thing with logging in with Twitter, and I don't have Twitter. So I was not going to, I didn't think that was worth it. You probably know how a tier list works, but if you don't, I will tell you straight away. S tier is the very best. Let's say S tier is superior. And F tier, well, that's the absolute bottom. It could stand for flawed or fucking awful. Depends on how you view it. Let's just say flawed at the lowest, because, you know, F. I'm going to rank these creepypastas in order of how I like them. And I'm gonna give some commentary and some explanation why I think they are deserving of that exact spot. I'm sorry if I sound a bit tired today. I have been very ill this month of a stomach flu, and my stomach hurt like hell. It was crazy. It was such a horrible experience. I wish I would never have it again. But anyways, I've waited until I have enough strength to do videos again, and I decided this is something I wanted to do for a long time, and I think now it's the time to do it. Because AlongCameJosh and HoneyBun, especially AlongCameJosh, hasn't uploaded creepypastas in a very long time. Or at least it feels like a very long time. His last creepypasta, The Real, is from April Fool's, and we're more than 2 months later. But anyways, I'm going to do the ranking right now, and let's get into it. Okay, dramatic intro there. I get it. But we're starting off with the NPC. I'm gonna do all of these in chronological order. I've gathered any creepypasta I thought was worth putting in this list. So, like the serious creepypastas and such. Yeah. The first one I'm going to rank is the NPC. The NPC is the creepypasta that it all began with. It was the initiator of a great series to come and such, and it was uploaded in a trio with the Stalker and the Ghost on the same day by AlongCameJosh. I'm going to do the AlongCameJosh rankings first, and then I will switch over to Mr.HoneyBun. As you can see, I've basically downloaded all the thumbnails and used them for this ranking, because I thought that's the best way to do it. But I'm not very familiar with these tier lists yet. But anyway, I'll get straight to the point. The NPC. Well, what happens here? That was weird. Anyways, I'm gonna make the image fitting. The NPC. Well, what to think of it? It's the one that it all began with. AlongCameJosh in the director's commentary said that this was his favorite. I guess he was going for a more realistic approach here. I certainly think it worked well in the sense of something does not feel right, but I found it rather boring and long. please forgive me, but I'm very outspoken in my opinions. If you don't like that, why don't you just go do something else with your life? But anyways, the NPC was a rather nice attempt to begin with, but is it a long-lasting creepypasta? For me, I don't really think so. I guess I'll place it in D tier. I feel comfortable placing it there. So yeah, Creepypasta, the NPC, is in D tier. And then we go to the Stalker. The Stalker is actually pretty good, even to this day. The thing that I liked so much about the Stalker is the music. And of course the idea of being stalked by some sort of crazy psychopath. The whole idea behind it is terrifying in and of itself. But the episode worked really well. It was well constructed. The actor Zimber was fantastic in what he was doing. I think AlongCameJosh definitely made one of his more solid entries in the early days of Creepypasta. And this one wasn't boring at all, no. And the music and such, it made it like a million times scarier. The music was all distorted and messed up. It was all... I think it really worked in its advantage after all, but we'll see how we rank this. So, how am I going to rank this creepypasta right now? Which spot do I think is deserving for Stalker? I certainly think the Stalker is a very solid episode, but there are more solid episodes overall, and I think the Stalker is very fitting at sitting at B here. It is a very enjoyable creepypasta, and it would be a good introduction to his channel if you haven't heard of it somehow. But if you did, then the Stalker is, to me at least, a very good episode. And don't get me wrong, B tier is pretty good still. If you get to A tier, it's already a massive achievement as a creepypasta. B tier is like, let's say that C is okay and B is just good. Rather good. A is really good and S superior, I guess. And then we get to the Ghost. The Ghost is a creepypasta shorter than the other episodes. When I watched Creepypasta for the first time, I thought that the Ghost was a very cool idea of having your dead grandmother visiting you in the game, even though it sounds unrealistic as all hell. But it was a lot of fun to watch. AlongCameJosh himself said that this is his least favorite. I'm trying to find out why. Is it perhaps to do with the more unrealistic kind of thing? It doesn't really have a big climax or anything where a monster comes to get the character, but yeah, the Ghost is, in my opinion, better at capturing the scary environment than the NPC did. The NPC was long and boring, but it was kind of cool. But the Ghost, it is like, it draws a fine line between the Stalker, which is at B tier, and the NPC at D tier. So I might as well place the Ghost at C tier. And I'm not saying it's a very great episode, but it's certainly a pretty nice one. And then we get to the all-time classic Bobby 1545. Oh my god. This is the first episode where all these like slangs came through, which were like used 150 times per minute or something. I guess I'm overacting here, but you get it. You've probably seen that video. It's AlongCameJosh's most popular video as of right now, and yeah, it really like exploded, and it really left some sort of legacy for creepypastas and such. But I'm looking at a more serious note here. Is Bobby 1545 a very good creepypasta, or perhaps not so much? That's the question. It does have a good lesson of being nice to people is going to be rewarding, and being a fucking bully means you're going to die. Yeah, I'm kind of unsure about this one. Of course, it does have a huge cult following. You know, I'll give it a C too. I think that's a fitting spot. And then we get to the era of the very good creepypastas from 2019, where the trend was actually getting at its highest on the AlongCameJosh channel. Minecraft was, in my opinion, the one that really started the trend. And boy, was it a good episode. I thought not only was it a very like a solid introduction to the cursed version of the game, but it's also a very interactive creepypasta, because there's an actual game titled Minecraft Hex.exe, created by no one less than AlongCameJosh himself. Minecraft Hex.exe really opened the doors to another dimension, let's say. So I think placing it at B tier is going to be a very good decision. Of course, you get it. Wow, what's going on? It's really weird, isn't it? Trying to scale it well, but anyways, Minecraft Hex.exe is at this spot at B, which is good. And then we get to Sister Lucy. Sister Lucy kind of sealed the creepypasta legend, his name as such, into stone. It really carved its name into stone with this creepypasta. Sister Lucy is a solid A, and I'm not doubting about it, because it was very well made. It had a very well built atmosphere. It had a lot of effort put into it, and of course the overall result was super terrifying. And yeah, it kind of also has the most intense jump scare in AlongCameJosh's career as a creepypasta director. So yeah, Sister Lucy, you're well deserving of the A tier. And then we get to the Well Dweller. Yeah, this is the first episode which has the AlongCameJosh music in it. Before it was all Kevin MacLeod's music, which he used throughout the videos. But the Well Dweller is the first one where the music was actually composed by AlongCameJosh himself. Have a little bit of water, so I can keep myself, fit. I'm not gonna search for the word now. The Well Dweller is the episode that would probably traumatize children, together with a later episode, but I'm going to mention it later. But the Well Dweller is certainly for the younger audiences pretty terrifying. It's about this swamp monster like thing in a well, which lures down people who play the game, and he kills them by taking their soul. Oh yeah, and side note, it will kill people in real life. I was actually so captivated by it the first time I watched it, but after a few watches it became less and less of an immersive watch. It became just one of those other creepypasta episodes that came and went for me. It wasn't really like a very important episode or so, but I liked the idea of entities killing people in real life in Minecraft. I even did this 2 times on my own channel in the Seed 999 video, and that video who is 155.91-08. The Well Dweller is a how am I going to rank this one? Yeah, enjoyment wise back then it would have certainly been an A, but I don't feel like it's deserving of that spot. And I do not want to place it among the Stalker Hex.exe. I think I'll place it at C tier. A creepypasta that did really get my attention was the Farlands Man. This one was good at almost all fronts. It had the Farlands in it, which is already a win for Minecraft Scary Stories. It also had a guy with a very clever nickname. A very good nickname, I must say. The sets were amazing, the effects were amazing of these guys floating up in the air. And of course the suspense that is being built up as he travels through the Farlands towards that one house where the villager resides. It was kind of a confusing ending, but it was nevertheless rewarding. And yeah, I'll definitely place it up there with Sister Lucy. Not everyone might agree with me, but hey, it's my tier list. Feel free to disagree with it. I'm fine with that. But if you're going to spam my comment section with hate, you can go fuck yourself. As I said, I'm very spoken out. Now, the white eyes guy, the man with white eyes, as it is called. This one had some of my favorite music in it, especially towards the end. There was this really cool beat added under the soundtrack, and I commented on AlongCameJosh's channel multiple times. If you could, please upload it, because I really wanted to listen to the file while I was traveling to my school with taxi. Yeah, and now that he actually uploaded the Creepypasta soundtrack, I can actually listen to it. The man with the white eyes is not as solid as the Farlands man, unfortunately, but it does give a fresh look on the Herobrine creepypastas and encounters. Herobrine is a tale in Minecraft all this time, and for some people it did lose its color, but for some others it is still something to keep going on with. The man with white eyes has this really good atmosphere, and the use of music is fantastic in the Creepypasta episode. And when it did came out, I actually found it a very enjoyable episode. And I'll place it at B tier. It's better than the Well Dweller, but not as good as the Farlands man. But it was still very good. And then we get to the Stalker second encounter. The Stalker second encounter is perhaps even an improvement on the original Stalker episode. The Stalker second encounter is more refined, and it improves on some of the things that kind of missed throughout. But it also kind of keeps to the same theme, which is always nice to see all themes coming back in a new coat. I think I would place this above the Stalker, the original Stalker. And yeah, this one was very enjoyable for me. The Stalker second encounter was very well constructed, just like the first one, but it did give an even deeper insight into Zimba and what this crazy psychopath is up to. Not that I hate the character or the actor, I actually think both are amazing. And I also think that, now that I think about it, that Zimber and Bobby 1545 could be a great couple, assuming that Bobby 1545 is a girl. Yeah, the Alex King, you know. I don't know if many people thought the same of it. Another great episode is The Snatcher. The Snatcher was by far the most scary and most captivating episode out of the entire first season. I think that ranking this as high as the Stalker second encounter, the Farlands man, Sister Lucy at A tier is also deserving. The Snatcher again had these very annoying slangs used throughout. Like, I think it was buddy this time. Like, buddy is used over 200 times throughout the episode, I think. I haven't counted it and I'm not going to. But the story behind it is very good, and the clever escape maneuver at the end by this guy Calypso, Alvin, I think he was called, by just disconnecting the server, that was a move nobody did expect at the premiere. And it was a classic move, it was amazing. It was pure entertainment, so to speak. Then we get to the last episode of the first season, which is Bobby 1545, the second encounter. The second encounter is almost on the same line as the first encounter. Sorry. I think, because it does show Bobby 1545 again being bullied by a bunch of guys. But this time it also tries out its Russian approach, because a lot of people watching these creepypastas were Russian. It was very popular in the Russian community at the time. But is it better than the first one? I actually don't think so. It was not a disappointment, but it wasn't a masterpiece, so to speak. I'll place it at C tier. Right here. And I'm also gonna fit these more together, tighter together, to give more space and such. Because I think this slot is also going to be occupied quite a bunch. But yeah, in each case, I think that concludes the first season, which was amazing and really set the standard for creepypastas to come. And then we get to one last one, which would actually be part of the first season, given how it has Bobby in it. But I'm not quite sure about this one. It is an April Fool's one, and this is an absolute classic. The Chastening. Bobby 1545, The Chastening. This is perhaps the best April Fool's joke I have ever seen in my life. It was like a 2-hour version of a guy running around the world chasing Bobby in a loop for 2 hours straight. And whoever sit through the whole damn thing, I say salute. I salute you. That must have been quite an achievement feeling. This one is deserving of a solid A spot. It's a very rare uncut gem and I like it. You can also find comments of me actually using that uncut gem term or something, or diamond in the rough. I don't know how the fuck I called it. And then we get to the Cave Dweller. This is by far the best episode AlongCameJosh has ever done in his entire life. Maybe the best video of a creepypasta there is in general. I love every second of this. It has slangs used by these kids thinking that they're really cool, but it also has a very entrancing environment and such, and a very captivating theme. The use of a looped track throughout really adds to the atmosphere. The creepiness is maxed out. This is a solid S tier. I fucking love this episode and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It doesn't matter how long it takes, how long it runs, let's say, but it is an absolute jewel on the crown. It's a masterpiece. It's everything great about creepypasta. So yeah, this is a solid S tier. And then we get to Mr. Friend, which is another solid creepypasta. Mr. Friend has this scary clown kind of thing going on, but visually, just like the Cave Dweller, it has these shaders. It is really cool, and I actually kind of like the video. It also comes over as some kind of joke, I think, but it did not feel like a joke quite, because it was still creepy, especially when the guy arrived at the circus, went inside and saw a bunch of random things going on, and the viewer would be like, what the fuck have I just witnessed? Anyways, it's a very solid episode and definitely sitting here at A tier. And then it went downhill with season 2, unless AlongCameJosh comes around with a very good episode again. Redman is probably the one I watched the least out of anyone. I almost never return to this episode, because this is where he started to upload less and less. I guess this one was from July 2020? When was it? As I was saying, Redman is perhaps my least favorite out of the AlongCameJosh creepypastas. It had this classic, the creatures coming to get you, and it was kind of getting old right now. And yeah, I don't know, there's nothing special about this episode that I can talk about. So yeah, people who liked Redman, I'm sorry for you, but this is my list. You can go on YouTube, you can make a video that is a million times better than mine. And you can place it at S tier if you want, but I am not going to do that. I do not think the red man is deserving of anywhere near a good grade for me. And then we have the Creepypasta Null, which is actually a re-upload of an earlier video that AlongCameJosh made about Null. It was called the Null Tapes. Now, assuming that the Null Tapes were pretty amazing, I'd actually say this one was perhaps a B tier, but the fact that it's actually just a re-upload of an earlier creepypasta really ruins the fun for me, as I can just hop onto YouTube, search for the Null Tapes and actually get the same video. So yeah, I'm sorry Josh, but you're going downhill here. You can count the Null Tapes as a B tier, but this is not quite the way for me to actually keep me hooked on. And now it's time to finally introduce to MrHoneyBun's Creepypastas. MrHoneyBun is also very good at this job. AlongCameJosh, he started it, but you know, MrHoneyBun also kind of finished it. Most of his creepypastas are also very good. And the first contribution to YouTube that he made of a creepypasta was He Came Along. Gotta get some water soon. Oh yeah, and it's also a max resolution picture, so it fills up the entire screen. He Came Along is some sort of haunted mansion exploration video or something. I didn't really get the idea behind it, but it was still kind of captivating. I'll give it a solid B tier, which is still good. And yeah, well, I don't know what to say about it other than that. Of course, the house was very creepy and very well built. You kind of feel along with the characters and such. But yeah, that's basically all I've got to say about it. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna get some water really quick, so I'll be right back. See you later. Alright, so here I am again. And where was I? Oh yeah, the next one, Entity Night. This is basically Null, but he calls it Entity Night. What to think of this? This is the classic, the creepypasta monsters coming to get you episode. Actually, I haven't really watched it in a while, so I don't really remember much of it. I remember when I watched it the first time, I found it kind of enjoyable actually, but you know, there's nothing really special about it. For me, a creepypasta is good if it runs long. It has a lot of effort put into it and original story and such. And yeah, you know, a massive set, just like the Cave Dweller has. But Entity Night, what to think of it? I really don't know. D tier, I guess. Yeah. The number one fan. This one was kind of interesting because it had, you know, a fan who wanted to play with MrHoneyBun. It's innocent, right? Well, unless it's a freaking creepypasta, then it becomes not so innocent. Having your number one fan actually playing around with you like some sort of Annie Wilkes from Misery is kind of scary. And it also really reminded me of that theme of having a deranged fan or something that you have to interact with. Usually it's not really a celebrity big dream to have such a thing happening to you. Is it the same level as He Came Along? I'm not sure. It was better than Entity Night. I think that would make it a C then. See you there. Then we get the Occupied World. The Occupied World is really original for a creepypasta. it was about as original as you can get it. It had, of course, the usual monsters coming to get you kind of feel, but it was original and it was fun actually to watch. And it also had this this empty world kind of feel that you're alone there, and also the fact that something's not right about it, like that there's actually someone else in your world, is already creepy enough. And yeah, what are you going to do about that is the question. You're going to try and get on until he gets so tired of you that he just decides to crash your server. The occupied world was good. I'll give it a B tier. And then we have the Soul Harvester. The Soul Harvester is along the lines of the Well Dweller, but I actually think it was better. Because this one is actually some sort of a documentation of two kids actually playing on the server instead of just one guy. And it really also improves on some points that the Well Dweller actually needed to have the improvements on. Soul Harvester is longer, but it also kind of has this constant build of tension. And I always find it creepy that when guys text in chat and such, and that they're they're having the time of their lives, but all of a sudden they don't respond to your question if you have any torches. And you wonder what could have happened, and then the guy goes investigating and he actually comes onto track of the Soul Harvester, and then he gets his soul harvested. In other words, he got killed. Certainly a good episode, I guess. It had this really good build-up of tension towards the end. I'll place it an 8 here. Okay, yeah, this is an 8 tier one. And then we have the NPC update. The NPC update has the creepiest intro. The music playing throughout was you get the point. Now, about the creepypasta itself, I also find this one kind of original. It has this this feel that something is not right indeed, just like with the NPC, but also, how am I going to explain this one? The NPC update feels like you have a machine which is in beta version, who is supposed to help you, but then it kind of derails and and you start to panic and you think about what to do with it. You're getting kind of afraid of it, what you want to do with it. Like, you get the feeling when computers don't really work the way you want and you get kind of panicked. This one was good. It's a B tier. I know the images are not quite purported like they are supposed to be, but I really don't care about precision here right now. I care about making my point clear. And I think I pretty much do so in a good way. And then we get to You, which is very interesting. You is actually the creepypasta where MrHoneyBun actually grew very good at making these videos. Like in a fashion that he really also kind of gets along the lines of AlongCameJosh. You is a story about two players who meet exact duplicates of themselves, which is already a terrifying idea to have, but at one point they are switching places and they become the duplicates, the imposters. And the way it is actually acted, as well as the way as it's being constructed, the tension is built up. I think that is material for a very good episode, so I'll place it an A tier, which is now getting filled up pretty much. I gotta be careful not to fill the entire tier list up with A, but hey, you'll get an idea how good creepypastas are then, if lots of creepypastas are up there in A tier. And then we get to Hatchet 179. Hatchet 179 is this guy. Totally looks like a threatening foe, does it? Does it? Yeah. No, please don't hurt me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was good. It was quite fun to watch. Even though I have no idea who the fuck Lecky is. I really never have seen her, heard of her, or him. What is it? I don't know. But I'm not focusing on Lecky, I'm focusing on the sets, which are first of all amazing. Second of all, the acting is really good, especially of Hatchet 179. And yeah, further on, the story is just cool. A tier. Well, actually, no, I really want to keep that for a special spot. Want to keep the spot for more special occasions. Another creepypasta that is good enough to be an A tier is Monkey Man. I immediately fell in love with this episode the first time I watched it. It has the awesome shaders going throughout, which are of course always a win if you ask me. And for the rest, the story is about a terrifying monkey attacking 2 kids in a world. But yeah, it's about having an atmosphere that creeps the shit out of people, and that's when you actually have a win already. The atmosphere in the Monkey Man is really good, especially won by the amazing shaders used throughout. MrHoneyBun actually happens to have a very powerful computer, more powerful than I have. Now that I actually have the ability to play with shaders on a decent frame rate of around 40 FPS, I can actually also start making creepypasta videos with shaders. And as a matter of fact, I already did so. But I'm not going to talk about that just yet. Entity A, The Entities, is actually a series of 3 episodes, which describe entities which each got a letter as a name. Entity A is just like Null, with white eyes then. And was it really that special? I guess not. It was cool, yes, but it wasn't special. It was just another monsters coming to get you creepypasta, which is material for the C tier. Entity B was another one, which was at around the same level of Entity A. But this time it takes place in a world where the player is alone instead of 2 players. Well, Entity A partially also has 1 player who encounters Entity A. But I think they're almost the exact same. I really couldn't find any special kind of, special feeling from it. But what I did actually enjoy very much was Entity C. Entity C, this creepy dude, the red face of his, look at it. This is the episode I probably watched the most out of any episode. It is one of those episodes that you just keep returning to simply because you like the setting of it so much. Entity C is a solid A tier because it has interesting characters. It has a very good sound design when the entity shows up. And it has a bunch of creepy sets, and it's an amplified world, which also really adds to the creepy feeling. But also the more majestic feeling that worlds should actually have in videos, like those mountain ranges and such. There is something about the creepypasta Entity C that just keeps me returning to it. And with yet another episode that I am afraid is going to fill up the A tier is the cursed item, or MFHRQPI. I don't know what the fuck that is supposed to mean. But yeah, it's a diamond. This one is also really original, kind of, because the entity not just randomly shows up for no reason, but this time it is actually an item which lets you see the entity. And acquiring that item is clearly rare enough to actually become a creepypasta with it. But the cursed item is, and still is, a very good episode. The cursed item is, yeah, it was cool, and it also had a kind of powerful jump scare in the library. You know, I should have already issued a spoiler alert, but it already became obvious. Now, and then we get to the liminal world. Guys, MrHoneyBun has outdone itself this time. The liminal world is an S tier immediately. There is no creepypasta like this that HoneyBun has ever made that captured my feelings so much. First, it has shaders, of course. It has a character with an interesting name, Hugo, which is a name I really like. The world is designed as a very dark, kind of terrifying world thing. You get it. But somewhere halfway through the video, the world changes. It firstly corrupts and then changes into one of the most crazy sets I've ever seen. And that was the scene that actually got me hooked onto this creepypasta episode so much. The liminal world was actually just this blank maze of most random objects and such, but which had something of a liminal space, office, train station, whatever you could imagine with it. And there was a soundtrack playing under it which absolutely captivated me. If there's anything I've got to say about the liminal world, I would say that it is fantastic, and it's MrHoneyBun's equal contribution to the AlongCameJosh's Cave Dweller. It is worthy of an S tier in every single aspect. They're both amazing episodes which I would keep returning to over and over again, and there is no arguing for me that the liminal world is the best creepypasta that HoneyBun has ever made, and that probably any guy has ever made beside AlongCameJosh. I think I've made my point clear with my praise and love about the liminal world. If you haven't watched that episode, you go do it right now, because it is fucking fantastic. And then we get to the occupied world part 2. It is certainly it is actually the exact same episode as the occupied world part 1. What the fuck? Okay, everything is set up straight again. The thing with the occupied world part 2 is, it is actually the same episode as the occupied world, but it doesn't really add any new or something to it. And yeah, it is another one of those generic episodes where the creature's coming to get you, which belongs in D tier for me. I really didn't think it really added anything. Void Eyes. Gosh, do I even know this episode? I cannot watch it right now because I'm making the list, of course, but I remember watching Void Eyes and thinking, this is yet another Entity A, Entity B, Entity Night, Null, Redman kind of video. Which belongs in E tier actually, because I found it even less enjoyable than the entities. I'm not a fan of Void Eyes. Something that had a fresh take on this actually was the Mimicker. The Mimicker had the exact same skin as Void Eyes, and Null and Entity A. I guess it almost looks the exact same. It's so difficult to distinguish them. But the Mimicker is somewhat more tolerable, it feels. It only appears very randomly at times, and yeah, it doesn't know the creepypastas, but it's a feeling that I have that the Mimicker is actually better, to the point where I would place it in C tier. Now we're down to the last two. The man with the hatchet. So I just go straight out and say that this one is also a very good contribution to the creepypastas, which I think is deserving of a solid A tier. Of course it will not fit in there, but you know, you get the idea. It's an A tier, and there's no debating that. Being an A tier creepypasta as it is, I'm going to explain why I think it is an A tier creepypasta. The man with the hatchet has absolutely zero words spoken out, except for some gibberish at the end by the hatchet guy. But the feel to it is all more genuine, as if it is actually playing in some sort of horror movie, a found footage kind of style video it is. And I like the filter at the beginning, this kind of VHS kind of filter. And of course the use of shaders is fantastic and such. The man with the hatchet is one of those very few creepypastas which needs no words and still captures the vibe just perfectly fine. But MrHoneyBun went out of the grid for a small while then and came with the Empty World, Alone in an Empty World creepypasta. And I actually think that this is the worst creepypasta ever made by any of these two guys. It's an F tier. Why, do you ask? Because my expectations after the Liminal World and the man with the hatchet have been turned up so high for MrHoneyBun to put out very good creepypastas like these more often. But Alone in an Empty World is very vacant of chemistry in my opinion. It doesn't have anything to offer, and it gets somewhat annoying to look at after a couple minutes, because it has this really uncomfortable and uncanny VHS filter, you know, which kind of dominated the entire screen and such, and the entire video, which made things super difficult to see. It also had this kind of microphone, this weird voice that you could barely understand.
How am I already in the end? Yeah, the biome is the end. That's not possible.
And when there was a jump scare, you actually couldn't see what the creature looked like. You couldn't see anything. And yeah, it was just a plain disappointment. I remember how I went on the Discord server of MrHoneyBun, and I just simply shared a link in the media posting for my own video, the Rake, Dark Stuff Minecraft the Rake, which was released on the exact same day as Alone in an Empty World. And if I can be completely honest, I think the Rake is better, even though I made it myself, but I'm gonna be pretty honest in it. As tough as it might be for some people, I think Alone in an Empty World is a bottom, which I hope is not going to be reached again. And I do not mean to offend any of the creators of these videos, because I have the fullest respect for them, but I am ranking their products, not them as a person, and by ranking their products I hope I can give a little bit of insight what could be improved about the creepypastas and what they might just better not try to do again. And yeah, I think that was it for today. I can't believe it is already done this quickly. I was expecting it to be around 2 hours. Like, how long has it been running? 49 minutes. Ah, well, that's about it, and that will sum it up. By the way, if you haven't watched Dark Stuff Minecraft the Rake, go watch it right now. I would really appreciate it if you would please watch it. I have put a lot of time and effort into that episode as well. If there's enough support on it, I will make much more creepy videos like these. I try not to call them creepypastas because I I would then sound like as if I just plain rip off AlongCameJosh and MrHoneyBun. I'd rather call it Dark Stuff Minecraft. In an attempt to actually be a little original, but I know I'm not. So I'll just keep to Dark Stuff Minecraft. Anyways, thanks for watching. AlongCameJosh, MrHoneyBun. Thank you for putting out all these creepypastas. I really enjoyed them in the way you see them right here. And I hope you can take some advice from it. Don't feel offended. If I actually did offend you in some way or another, I'm sorry about it, but this is my way of saying things. And well, thanks for watching. I guess I've already said that way too much.